Welcome to the Heidrick Struggles Leadership Podcast, the premier provider of leadership consulting, culture shaping, and senior level executive search services. Every day, we're privileged to talk with fascinating people who are shaping the future through their leadership and vision. Each episode, you'll hear a different perspective from thought leaders and innovators. Thanks for listening to the Heidrick Struggles Leadership Podcast.
Hello, I am Tim Lütke, partner in the Heidrick Struggles office in Munich and global managing partner of Heidrick's specialty practices and the Disruptive Innovators team. In today's podcast, I'm speaking to Alessia Sterpetti, the head of open innovation and the Idea Factory at Enel, the multinational power company headquartered here in Rome. Alessia joined Enel 15 years ago. In 2014, she launched the Enel Idea Factory to help employees foster their creativity and support innovation within the company. Alessia, buongiorno, welcome, and thank you for the time that you take today to speak to us.
Buongiorno. Good morning, everybody.
Alessia, could you please maybe start by telling us why Enel set up the Idea Factory and how this actually works?
The factory itself is part of our open innovation strategy. You know that we don't have enough knowledge to innovate, so we have to access to external as well as internal ideas. Mm-hmm. And so we have set up several tools to do that. And the factory is focused on the internal ideas. So it aims at creating an environment where our people are able to use creativity and imagination to solve business challenges and to come up with new ideas, new projects that boost our business and very important, that address our stakeholders' as expectations. So we want to create value for us and our stakeholders. So how it works? The factory is a service that we provide to our colleagues. So when a manager has a challenge, he can get in touch with us or he posts the challenge in a tool that we have. And first we meet him, we organize a meeting with him, we call it a clarification meeting, where we try to explore the challenge and the problem that are behind the challenge, because we want to design the best process for him and his colleagues to come up with the solution. Mm-hmm. So what does it mean, design the process? Because once we understand his vision, his expectation, and the real problem he has to address, we organize the ideation phase, choosing the most appropriate tools from creative problem solving, from design thinking, from lean startups, depending on the kind of problem, on the kind of challenge he has to address. Okay. And we organize a workshop involving different people from different parts of the company, because for us it's so important the cooperation and to break silos. And we help them to come up with solutions using creativity tools. So during this workshop, this ideation phase, this divergent phase, they come up with a long list of ideas. And then afterward, the challenge owner and his team select the best ideas and they bring them to development and implementation. So some examples: glasses, smart glasses.
Yes.
To improve the cooperation, the real-time cooperation among people, operation and maintenance colleagues that are on the power plant and the control room in the headquarters, to have a real-time interaction were built and were moved to pilot together with a provider. Yeah. Our colleagues have created a warehouse for our power plant to provide for spare parts, very quick availability for our power plants, for example. Our legal department is reimagining their processes to include artificial intelligence. Yeah. So we have several examples from different parts, not only business unit, but also staff units, because our service is for
the whole company,
yes,
back office and front office. That's interesting because and you have met our colleague Scott Snyder. In his book, he calls that little I innovations that ultimately enable people to then build big I, so innovations that really change the path of the company. And with your AI, you're obviously using cool technologies, glasses, all these things, right? So you're introducing cool stuff. How big is your team, Alessia?
We are 5 in Rome and 8 worldwide because we have hubs in several countries, Colombia, Chile, Brazil, Spain and Romania.
Okay.
So we try to cover all the...
So you've been doing this or you've set it up 5 years ago.
Yes.
What's next? What's the next step for these little I and big I innovations within Enel?
We have just launched a new corporate entrepreneurship program. So keep continuing in supporting this mindset shift from employee to entrepreneur with our initiatives. But now we have to make the action come true. So to gather the results. Also because we want to measure innovation and measure also the economic results. But the economic results are longer to achieve. So what we are doing now is to gather all the action implemented because we have to assess them and we have to understand if we have to introduce new initiatives or we have to review the one existing. So at the moment we are in the analysis stage. We are assessing what we have created to decide what should be improved. We always have to evolve. I mean, culture is something that needs continuous action and doesn't need one-way solution. So this is the reason why I told you at the beginning, the factory itself is part of a strategy where several tools are in place.
So it's one of many different elements of the strategy. So this whole behavioral change, this cultural movement within Enel, I just imagine, a huge company, formerly state-owned. There's probably a lot of things where what you need to do. Is there any other aspects of the cultural change that you're seeing and the curve moving over the past 5 years?
Yes. Can I give you some tangible example? Because of course we are talking about something intangible. Something that happened to me 2 days ago. I was working at the computer and a person that I don't know very well entered to the room and put on my desk a card deck. It is the card deck that we use for the visual thinking to help our colleagues to come up with lateral thinking. This means that that person were using the tool without our support, without our facilitation. So it's becoming a practice.
Cool.
This is what we are measuring. Coming back to the thing that we were saying before, we are assessing if we have evidence that is working. Because if not, we have to improve or we have to think to new actions. And this is
nice example.
Example. Or a few weeks ago, we have started a program with risk management team. This is another key point. We are becoming human-centric. Think that the risk management asked for our support because they want to review the product they create, the reports they create for their clients, and they want to start from the client's need. They want to start working with the clients. So they want to start at ethnographic and empathizing stage. That is the first stage of the design thinking. And it was not a promotion that I did to them. They asked me. So this is another signal to review your approach starting from people. What is necessary for people to work better?
That's interesting examples, Alessia. If you think about all the different technology and all the innovations that are also coming from outside, right, where people come up with new tools in Internet of Things, the digital disruption within your clients, the whole industry, your suppliers, these challenges with AI and these topics. What do you think is the biggest challenge on the talent side for business leaders with this technology and the convergence of these technologies?
I think that leaders should always keep in mind and taking that into account the signals that come from the social behavior. I mean, technology is a commodity, but people are those that decide. People are those that pay they have always to keep aligned the technology innovation with the culture. Okay, a simple example. I was talking yesterday with a colleague of mine is a manager in the renewable energy about the Alexa. Alexa is simple. We already have it into our houses, right? And he was saying, can you imagine that to me it's so hard to talk to something that is intangible, is not real, that is part of the culture. So the important for a leader is to keep always into account the signals and to keep always into account the cultural shift. If the cultural shift is aligned with the advance, with the technologies that are going ahead, this is so important.
So not losing people along the ride with all these technologies, and not using technology just for the sake of the technology, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly.
I think that's a very important point. Great. So Alessia, as a woman in a senior leadership role, is there any specific advice you would like to share with young female talents, up and coming stars of the future who want to succeed in their careers just as you did?
Yeah. I have three things that to me are so important for women, but in general for young people. First of all, always be learning. Second, always be curious. And so important, always seek impact in what you do. Always. You cannot waste time. You cannot waste anything. So please seek impact in what you do. And a little bit of resilience for women, because professional life is still a little bit hard. So this is my motto, my advice, if I can give it.
Alessia, thank you very much for speaking with me today and explaining to us the Idea Factory and all the innovations at Enel.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks for listening to the Heidrick Struggles Leadership Podcast. To make sure you don't miss more future-shaping ideas and conversations, please subscribe to our channel on the podcast app. And if you're listening via LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, why not share this with your connections? Until next time.